As is typical these days, films that are slated to come out Friday have a Thursday night preview, which of course is mainly for the most hardcore of the most hardcore, but this now has become a standard in terms of measuring the success of a film going into Friday and the rest of the weekend. So let's talk about the first reports of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So again, as a reminder, as there's always new people tuning in, Thursday numbers contribute to Friday. So when we talk about the Friday numbers, that, just to remind you, will include Thursday. Thursday night previews are just a part of the day. They're not, as loaded as you're going to see the following days, because again, it's only a couple showings that typically happen. Usually they start at 7. So now that we're getting our first reports, again, these could be adjusted later on in the weekend, up or down slightly, but generally Thursday numbers are always pretty close to what we end up getting. So we found out that Black Panther Wakanda Forever on Thursday officially delivered $28 million. So where exactly does this place it? Well, it places it right on track for what people were saying was going to be the take this weekend. Again, anywhere from 155 to 175 million was the last thing I saw in terms of predictions last night, and it hasn't really changed much. And I honestly think this number is pretty good and comparable to what we got before with other Marvel Studios films this year, and obviously ahead of some of the other films you can compare it to that are comic books. But again, nothing too crazy here. We kind of expected a number like this just because of everything surrounding Black Panther, and there's of course all the hype going from the first film into this one, but of course there's even more things on top of that that relate to this. Again, there's been a lot of good word of mouth, and I think that's definitely going to help this upcoming weekend as a whole. And I think when we talk about Saturday, it's going to be an interesting picture to talk about what happens there, then of course Sunday, and ultimately the entire weekend. Now for some comparisons, which we always got to do in these videos, Black Panther Wakanda Forever at 28 million places it ahead of the original film, which opened up with 25 million in previews. But this film officially comes in 1 million under Thor Love and Thunder, which opened up with 29, but it's also ahead of The Batman at 21.6 and Black Adam at 7.6. Now, where it compares to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, well, it's way below it, as that opened up with 36 million. So it looks like this year, Doctor Strange 2 is pretty much the biggest comic book film out there. But again, this is still good for Wakanda Forever. Again, as I talked about it before, there's still this weird, I don't know how to describe it, energy surrounding this film, with many people unsure and all that. But still, it's doing better than the first film. We're going to look at how it does, when it comes to the entire Friday and then the weekend take. Overall, this thing looks like it's on track to be exactly where people predicted it was going to be in terms of ending the box office weekend.